Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Teresa, this is Lost My Thread. Today I'm going to be catching you up with everything I made in the month of December. December was a real mixed bag for me with all kinds of crafts. It was not particularly sewing heavy, though there were some sewing projects in there for sure. I'll start off with the sewing and then I'll move on to some knitting and other crafts. The first thing I want to talk about is the dress that I'm wearing today. So this is the Nina Lee Mayfair dress. It's the second version I've made of this dress. This one is in a really beautiful cotton jersey fabric. I got this from myfabrics.co.uk. I'd actually seen it on the Higgs & Higgs website, but they were sold out of this color and that was the one that I really wanted. So I managed to get it elsewhere online. It's got this really beautiful, well, it's a lovely burgundy color to start with. It's like a red wine burgundy color. And it has these really beautiful gold flowers all over it. So what I wanted this for is there was a party that the new craft house was throwing in December called the Red and Gold Party, and red and gold was the theme. And so, I mean, red and gold, how can you go wrong? I felt like this fabric would be absolutely perfect, and I'd also been really wanting to make a Mayfair dress for Christmas because I know this fabric is jersey, it's stretchy, this is cotton jersey, can't remember if I said, but I know this dress has a lot of give. You wrap it around your waist as tightly or as loosely as you want to. It is really nice and cozy with the long sleeve as well. I did want to go full maxi length with this one, but I actually wasn't able to go full maxi just with fabric restrictions. So I felt like it didn't really match what was recommended from the pattern. I'm not sure if it was to do with the width of the fabric, but one way or another, I was not able to get the full maxi length out of this one, but I did shorten it as much as I needed to, so basically kept it as long as I possibly could. And in all honesty, it's more or less there for maxi. It's not hugely shorter than that. I just would have liked probably another 2 or 3 inches to make it full on maxi, but it was definitely really comfortable and really nice to wear at Christmas time. I love this dress because there's so many lovely design details there. You have, it's almost like a collar at the back that goes into some kind of gathery pleats that go down to the V-neck. It's a really nice depth of V for me. You can tie this in the front or the back. I actually prefer my previous version tied at the back, but this one I think looks really nice tied at the front. Like I said, it's just really beautiful. I feel like it has a very elegant look on the whole, and it felt very appropriate for Christmas. It felt like a lovely Christmas dress, but I've also just been wearing it in the winter. I don't feel like it needs to be necessarily a special occasion. I've been wearing it to work, I've been wearing it out, and I really like it. The other garment I made, if you can call it a garment, is an hoodie that I made for my husband. So this is not an hoodie, it's actually the Billie Wearable Blanket by DIBY Club, Do It Better Yourself Club. It's essentially a ginormous hoodie and it's full length. Well, I would say it's kind of like mid calf length, which was what I wanted for my version, what my husband wanted for his. There's also some cuffs here, like a contrast gray cuff, which I thought worked well with the fabric. There's another contrast on the inside of the hood as well. This is the inside of this fabric. So this fabric is actually a blanket that I got from Dunelm, and I actually really love the fabric. It's super soft. It's called, well, it's teddy fleece. I think it calls itself like official teddy bear blanket. I actually bought 2 of these because my husband's a bit taller than me. I wanted to have enough for the full length for him, and the sleeves themselves are quite large and wide, and the hood is quite a lot, so I felt like to get everything I needed, I did need to use 2 of the blankets. But there's actually somebody else who saw me make this and managed to get the same blanket discounted. It's Emma Matthews made it, and she showed me, or she tagged me on Instagram so I could see her version. But she managed to get out of a single blanket, or I think hers was a duvet cover, so I wonder if it's slightly different than this blanket itself. But basically, this was a blanket that I converted into a wearable blanket. It is ridiculously warm. It is really snuggly and cozy. My husband absolutely loves wearing it. For the hem of this, I decided to just keep the original edge of the blanket, so I didn't have to do the hem there. So it was one less thing to do. But I've made a version of this for myself, which I love. My husband was jealous, and he now lives in his. So it is very much getting a lot of use and a lot of love, and I know this is going to be one that he's going to wear every winter. The other thing that I sewed in December, you would definitely know about if you watched my Vlogmas videos. I made 21 bowl cozies to give away as gifts. Bowl cozies are essentially like a quilted square that you add some shaping to so that you can use it to hold on to a bowl, and then you can hold the bowl in the bowl cozy whilst you're eating something hot and your hands won't burn. But I also use 100% cotton and cotton batting and cotton thread on mine, so that way you can actually use the bowl cozy to put a bowl into the microwave to heat something up, and then you can keep it on there and take the bowl cozy out without needing oven mitts, and your hands won't burn, and then you can just use it to eat from. I use it for leftovers, soup, noodles, porridge, basically anything hot, and it's really nice and cozy to then eat out of. I've heard it's also really good for cold things, but I made a ton of these to give away as Christmas gifts, and that was a big project that I was working on throughout the month of December. I've had good feedback of some that have been used and loved already, which makes me really happy. That was a big epic project, but one that I'm really glad that I managed to achieve. The other very Christmassy thing that I made were I knitted some tiny tree socks. So I made very tiny little socks that I knitted that you then put a loop onto and hang on a Christmas tree. I ended up making 4 of them because they were surprisingly quick and very satisfying to put together. I would say that I'm kind of like an intermediate sock knitter. I've knitted probably 4 pairs of socks before I made these, maybe even only 3. I haven't made a ton of them, but I do feel like making these tiny socks made it quicker for me to understand the process of sock knitting. So then when I went back to knitting actual socks, the whole process felt much quicker and much more familiar. And they were just so much fun. They were super cute. I love how they turned out. And I love that I've managed to pack those away that I can then bring them out next Christmas. And it will make me so happy to get to see them and hang them up again next year. That pattern was actually a free one from Summer Lee Design Company. It's called Tiny Tree Socks. I will put a link to it down below if you are interested in checking it out. The other thing that I knitted was actually I finished a proper sock, also designed by Summer Lee Design Co. This is called the I'm So Basic sock. I really love this sock pattern. I've made it before. This is my 3rd pair in this design. So yeah, I have made 4 pairs of socks before, well, counting this one. And it's in this really gorgeous yarn. I really do love it. It's from a yarn that's designed by Made by Penguins, or dyed by Made by Penguins. I love the different color that you get all throughout it. I've got the 2nd sock cast on at the end of December, and I've been working on it a little bit in January as well. So that other sock will be coming along soon. I really do like the way that those are turning out though, and that yarn is super soft and snuggly. It's a Merino nylon 4-ply yarn, and it is delightful. The last project to share with you guys, it's not sewing, it's not knitting, but it is very much fiber art. It is very much needlecraft. I made my first punch needle art. So this was from a kit that I got for Christmas. I worked on this mostly on Christmas Day and Boxing Day. I actually got most of the way through it. It was really quick and satisfying to put together. So there are small little loops of yarn that go around from the front. They also go around to the back, and you just pull them through bit by bit to create the full scene. This kit came from Amazon. It had all of the yarn, the different colors. It came with a punch needle device. I'm sure there's a name for the needle that you use, and there were also some outlines of these designs on there, so I knew what lines I needed to follow. I did actually have to adjust it a little bit. The pink was meant to be going down here, and this was supposed to be a bigger white section, but I ran out of white. I think in some of this I maybe had the white a little bit too close together, which is why I ran out. I created bigger loops than I should have, but I was able to extend the pink up that way, and you never would know. That's just, I'm telling you guys because that's what I know happened. I've been dying to try punch needle for so long. It is just such a beautiful type of art. I love the different texture that you get in there, the irregularity of the stitches. I am going to be hanging this up on the wall in my sewing space, so I will show a picture of it hung up so that you can see what it looks like up there. I love the colors. I feel like it really suits my space and it really suits my taste. And I really definitely want to try more punch needle in the future. Something I would love to ask you guys though is the way punch needle works is you're literally just putting the yarn through and up again, through and up again. And if you want to, you can just pull back and it will pull it out of the canvas that you're putting it onto. And so what worries me a little bit with having this anywhere other than hanging on the wall is that if I were going to make a cushion out of this, if I were going to make a bag out of this, if anyone were to pull any of those loops, it would just pull out a load of the yarn and just basically destroy the piece. Now, I don't think anyone would do that on purpose, but I'm just thinking about if I had a bag and my keys, the edge of the keychain got hooked on one of these, could it possibly pull the whole thing apart? If I had a cushion, if somebody had, I don't know, a watch on or a ring on and it caught on here, could it pull the whole thing out? Is there a way to secure the back? Or maybe once it's all together and embedded, it's just so unlikely that that would happen that I'm just worrying about something I don't need to worry about. If you have experience or knowledge of punch needle, please do let me know if this is a warranted concern or if I just need to not worry about it and make some other punch needle stuff. I do actually have scraps of most of these colors, so I could totally just use those to try and do something else. But I also love the idea of using some of my yarn scraps, and then that way I could maybe make something a little bit more of an unusual texture. I think it would be a whole lot of fun to experiment one way or another, and I'm really looking forward to playing around with more punch needle in the future. Like I said, it was kind of here and there in December working on all different variety of things, but it was really fun and satisfying. December was a busy month. It's always a busy month, so it was nice to have some small projects that I could just gradually work on throughout the month. I would love to hear if you have tried any of the projects that I made, or if you are interested to try them based on what you've seen from what I've made. I really would recommend everything that I've worked on over the month, and I am planning to repeat a lot of these patterns again and again. Make sure that you do give this video a like if you liked what you saw today. Please do subscribe down below if you don't want to miss more of my future videos, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!